Hey guys, Blaine here again. This is going to be the video on how to reassemble a carburetor for a small engine. I've done videos on the Tecumseh carburetors. This is your basic China carburetor that's probably on pretty much every snowblower or small engine nowadays. This is on I believe, 196cc engine. This has the linkage arm choke flange. Little linkage, and it runs to well, let me get the piece. It runs to this kind of linkage right here. There's also a different variant that's on a 208cc. It's not this one. I don't even have that carburetor right now, but it's similar to this, but it has a plastic piece here and a choke rod comes from the top and it twists into there. So there's two different variants for these small engines now, but this is very common nowadays on everything really. So I have a parts list. This is Sten's carburetor gasket, part number 485140, and that's the carburetor to manifold gasket. That would be this gasket right here. And then I have part number 485958, and that would be your airbox to carburetor gasket. And this machine takes two. It gets one behind there and then one in front of there. So they're the part numbers for that. And then the bowl gasket, which is Sten's part number 485970. And that's all the gaskets for this machine, for this carburetor. So like always, I'm going to start with the jet, main jet. Drop it in, put the jet on top, and don't try to force any screwdriver into this. They make a carburetor screwdriver, or you know, I have one like this and I ground down the side so it doesn't mess up the threads inside the carburetor. So it's pretty skinny, but they do make carburetor screwdrivers. I have one, but it's not here with me. It's at home for a job I'm doing. So anyway, just make sure you have something that fits properly and not too big, because you'll destroy the threads inside the carburetor. Make sure it's tight. Next, on these gaskets, there's two sides to it. One side has like a little kind of like slice inside the center all the way around that faces up, and sit it into the carburetor. Next, there's two styles of floats with needles. There's this common style with the spring, so make sure you don't lose the spring, because if you don't have the spring, it's not going to work. Push the spring down. And slide it on in there. Kind of a pain in the ass. I got these big meaty fingers, so and it just slides in there like that. Make sure the needle's clean. There's no oxidation or anything on there, because it will get stuck and then your carburetor will leak fuel. So next step is to slide it in there. Make sure it's in there, and then install the pin that holds the float. Very simple. There you have yourself assembled carburetor pretty much. Make sure the needle doesn't get stuck in there. Make sure it works. Now, when I put the bowl on, I like to think of it this way. So when the carburetor is sitting on the engine, like this with the fuel line on the opposite side. When I put the bowl on, I like to have the bowl drain on the opposite side, the drain right here on the opposite side of the fuel, because then that's going to face out to the side that you can get accessibleness to drain the bowl. So set that on there, make sure the gasket's seated properly, put the bowl on, and put the nut on, well, the bolt that holds the bowl on. It's 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter. Tighten it on up. And the last thing on these is this little tiny jet radiator. It's plastic. It's on the top of the carburetor right here. Make sure you clean these when you take these carburetors apart, because if you don't, it's going to have a surge. It just sits in there like that, and this your idle screw technically, and it also holds down the jet inside, so that just screws in. And how I always set these, I'll show you in 1 second. The gap that you want to have for your idle. This is your idle screw. So you want to have about, I don't know if you can see it or not, about that much sticking out. You can always adjust it when it's back on the machine, but this seems to always work for me in this spot. So there you have it. That's your carburetor complete and reassembled. I gave you all the parts list for this. The next step would be to put it on the machine, which we'll head on over now actually to do it. Since I already got everything ready. Take your gaskets, everything else. Let's go. So the first step with this is going to be this gasket right here. It's your manifold right there. Put that gasket on. Then you're going to slide the carburetor on. And before you slide the carburetor all the way back on, you want to hook the throttle back up. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to end up forgetting about it later. And then you're going to have everything back together, and the machine's not going to idle or anything. You got your spring, throttle linkage. Make sure it works, it's not sticking. And next, well, I had the gas tank off this machine because it was real varnished, but in this case, your next step would be to hook the fuel line up and you know, put the primer line on, etc. Next after that is install the gasket for your air box. So one gasket goes on now, and then hook up your linkage. I've done so many of these, but before you take this off, make sure you mark the linkage, because you can install it wrong and then it's not going to work. So make sure the linkage is on, connect it, slide it on, and then it gets one more manifold gasket. Goes on like this. And that's it. The next step would be to obviously put this back on your cover, your air box. You would slide this onto the valve cover. And this machine has a cover right here that sits on the top. It's 2 bolts. Hook up your key shut off, your wires for your kill switch. Primer line goes onto the primer ball, and then you install this back on there. But I still got to finish with this gas tank and clean it, and then I'll do a quick short of, you know, putting the gas tank back on, hooking the fuel line up, and finishing everything. But let's that's going to be it for this video. It was just a quick video on how to, you know, clean the carburetor, reassemble the carburetor, install the carburetor and gaskets, and how to hook up the linkage back onto the machine. If you like this kind of content, please give us a like, maybe subscribe if you like this stuff, because I'll be posting, you know, daily. And maybe drop a comment on what you would like to see next. I mean, we got plenty of stuff. We do quads, snow blowers, lawnmowers, tractors. Like this customer, he dropped two machines off. He dropped the snow blower off and he dropped the tractor off. So I do everything in pairs. Like in the other video, I said I replaced, you know, the pull cord. I did a full tune-up. The carburetor got rebuilt pretty much. And I got to clean the tank and you know, see if she runs, because you know, it didn't run when it came in. But like I said, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and drop a comment on what you'd like to see next, or anything that you want to do or know, or anything along those lines. I'm open to anything. Thanks guys, have a good day.